All right. So, hi, everybody. My name is Erin. I am the Adult Reference Supervisor at Samuels Public Library. Thank you so much for joining us today. Just to let you guys know, again, this is being recorded. So for anybody that you know that was interested in joining and they couldn't make it, they can see this video up in a couple of weeks. It's going to be on our Facebook and our YouTube channel, where we also have some of our previous events as well. So feel free to check it out. Another couple of things that are going on at the library all summer long. We have a lot of cool things, a lot of cool different programs. It is currently our summer reading program. So for anybody who's interested, it started Monday. It will end August 13th. You can sign up on our website. You just log every book that you read during the summer, whether it's a book, ebook, audiobook, and every chance is a chance to win a cool prize. This year's theme is Oceans of Possibility. So we got a bunch of cool like ocean and water themed prize baskets that people can win. And I'm going to give it over to Joellen, who is a member of our Friends of the Library group.
Thank you, Erin. Hi. Thank you for spending your dinner evening with us. We're delighted to have you all. My name is Joellen. I'm with the Friends of Samuels Library. Pardon me. And we're delighted to have Cadyn with us tonight for her special program. I've known Cadyn for a number of years, and it's just delightful what she's done with her business. Cadyn has woven her background in art and design with a lifelong passion for herbs and wellness into Immortal Mountain, the business she co-founded with her husband in 2012. Drawing from her years of hands-on experience and formal education in herbalism, Cadyn loves sharing with her children and others the joys of identifying, harvesting, and preparing herbs for everyday use, which you will learn about in this program. Immortal Mountain, her business, crafts distinctive herbal raw dark chocolates, which are delicious if you've never tried them, botanical extracts and herbal self-care products, and grows fresh mushrooms, greens, and herbs on their 2-acre regenerative permaculture farmstead that's here in our area. We are delighted to have Cadyn Speziale here with us tonight, and who's speaking on adaptogenic herbs. And without any further ado, one moment. As Friends of Samuels Library, I would like to say at the end of this program, if you have any idea for future programs, we'd love for you to put those ideas into chat because we're always interested to hear what you were interested in. So without any further ado, here's Cadyn. Welcome, Cadyn.
Thank you, Joellen. That was a very nice intro. You could read audiobooks for a living if you wanted to. Your voice is so nice. Hi, everyone. First of all, thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with me this evening. And I'm really excited to talk about a group of herbs that is growing in both popularity and research called adaptogens. Like Joellen said, my name is Cadyn Speziale, and I've been working with and studying herbs for about 15 years now. Just to give you a little background. I've worked with 2 different herb shops over the years. I have graduated from both an in-person herbal course and a 2-year virtual herbal school. And for the past 6 years, have been formulating botanical products for our local family company, Immortal Mountain, which Joellen just told you guys about, where we grow, process, and incorporate herbs into our handcrafted lines of chocolates and botanicals. While I love so many individual herbs as if they were different friends, I have been becoming more and more interested in this group of about 24 or so herbs we call adaptogens, which was coined in the late 1950s. Herbal medicine is one of the most ancient forms of healthcare known to humankind, and it was the main form of medicine here in the US until the 1920s when pharmaceuticals started replacing herbs, which is actually really recent if you think about it. So we've been using herbs for way longer than we haven't been. So what makes an adaptogen an adaptogen? They have to follow a specific criteria, and those 3 things are they have to be, number 1, non-toxic, number 2, non-specific, and number 3, normalizing or balancing. So what does all of that mean? First of all, non-toxic means they are basically generally safe for anyone and everyone to take, regardless of your age or your condition. They work on a long-term tonifying level with multiple body systems simultaneously and synergistically to help keep our bodies in homeostasis or in balance, while also responding to and adapting to stressors, hence the name adaptogen. So that's what we mean by non-toxic, non-specific, and normalizing. And by the way, I will have a question and answer session at the end of this. So if you guys come up with any questions in the meantime, just jot them down and I will be happy to address any of them at the end. So what kind of stressors could we be talking about in our lives? There's lots of different kinds of stressors, right? I mean, I feel like we're all under stress all the time. Work pressures, finances, family responsibilities, winter or weather blues, major life changes. Those are all stressors, and they can affect multiple systems in our bodies through sleeplessness, anxiety, indigestion, chronic colds, other chronic viruses. And there are environmental stressors too, like air pollutants, smoke, smog, pollen, exhaust. All of these things that can trigger our immune systems to overreact in the form of allergies. Those stressors can all bring our bodies out of balance. There are individual herbs that can target each of these imbalances. And if you work with an individual herbalist to discover more about your unique situation or disposition or constitution, you can find botanicals or substances made from plants that will perfectly align with you in a very specific therapeutic way. But the amazing thing about adaptogens is that while it is still best to observe and understand as much as possible about what sort of imbalance you're experiencing, we can safely and very effectively incorporate any adaptogenic herb from a list of about 24, 25 herbs into our wellness routine to experience a very balancing, normalizing effect on a holistic level. So today, I'm going to share with you 4 of my favorite adaptogens. I just feel like we don't have enough time to get into every single one of them. But first, I want to explain 3 methods of enjoying these herbs before we really get into the herbs. I feel like we should talk about how we can enjoy them so that you'll a little bit better understand what I'm going to be moving into here. And I'm actually going to demonstrate 2 of these methods with you today. The first method is called an infusion, which is basically a fancy herbal term for tea. The way that you want to make an infusion is you're going to want to use the leaves or flowers or berries, basically the more delicate parts of a plant, to make an infusion. And you can use dried or fresh herbs. But if you're going to be using about, I'd say typically you want to drink about, if you're doing adaptogens, about 1 quart of tea per day is totally fine, not too much at all. You'll find that it's really easy to drink 1 quart of adaptogenic tea because it's so delicious. And if you're going to use dried herbs, typically you're going to want to use about anywhere from 4 to 6 tablespoons of dried herbs. And what you're going to want to do, I'm going to make a holy basil or Tulsi, I don't know if you guys can see that, Tulsi infusion today, which is one of the herbs we're going to talk about. And I'm going to pour my herbs, let's see if I can get a good angle here, into my quart-sized mason jar here. And the reason I'm going ahead and doing this now is so that it can steep while we are talking. And I've secretly been heating up some water here backstage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour all this hot water over my herbs. Very simple. Put this down somewhere safe on a trivet. And I'm going to cap it because Tulsi in particular is very aromatic. And if you cap it while it's, I mean, not really tight, but just kind of loosely. If you cap it while it's steeping, then all those nice aromas will stay in your tea. So we're going to let that steep for a few minutes. So yeah, that's really all there is to it, to an infusion. We're going to let that steep. We'll come back to it and we'll finish it up at the end of this, and I'll kind of finish explaining it to you then. I'm also going to show you guys a decoction, which is the second method of enjoying these adaptogenic herbs. Now, a decoction, another fancy herbal word for making tea, except this is how we use, we're going to be preparing more like the hardy type parts of the plant, like barks, roots, mushrooms actually would fall into this category as well. I love that the steam is rising up. It makes things look very magical in here. So for our decoction, which I'm going to get going now, what you're going to want to do is start with same amount of water, about a quart of water in a pot this time. And you're going to put that on your stovetop. And you're going to add your roots, barks, mushrooms, the hard parts of plants directly into your pot of water. Now the same measurements apply. So for our decoction, we're going to be using eleuthero root. This one smells very, very nice and earthy. So I'm just going to pour this in. We're going to, all together, it's going to be about probably 6 tablespoons worth of dried herb that we're pouring in here. And that's all total because we're going to be using a couple different herbs here. So that's the eleuthero. And we're going to add some reishi mushroom. Now, eleuthero and reishi are 2 of the other adaptogens we're going to be talking about today. So I've got some kind of broken up pieces, I don't know if you guys can see this, of reishi here. So I'm going to add a few of those pieces, maybe like 3 little pieces. It can be really bitter, so I'm not going to add too much of that. We're going to add a cinnamon stick for flavor. Drop that in. And some nice goji berries for their antioxidants and deliciousness. So I'm going to drop those in also. All right. I'm going to put the lid on this and I'm going to let that simmer while we're talking. And then again, by the end of this talk, we're going to strain our potions and you'll get to kind of see the difference between the two, an infusion versus a decoction. Now, the third method of enjoying herbs that I'm going to discuss is an extract or a tincture. And just to familiarize you guys, just in case you've never seen a tincture before, usually they come in a 1 to 2 ounce size glass dropper bottle like this. And you'll see them anywhere like health food stores, even in the grocery store, in the supplement aisle, you'll start seeing these. They're pretty available. And what they are, where an infusion or a decoction is your solvent, basically it's you're extracting the medicinal constituents of your herb through hot water. With a tincture or an extract, you're using a different solvent, usually alcohol, like a vodka or a grain alcohol. Now you can find non-alcoholic versions if you're sensitive to alcohol, like a glycerin or an apple cider vinegar, but typically they're going to be in alcohol form. Now, what I like about tinctures is that they have an indefinitely long shelf life. They're extremely potent. Usually a typical dose is about 2 to 3 squeezes of the dropper 2 to 3 times per day. You might want to start off a little bit less, just if it's a brand new herb to you, just so that you kind of see how it functions with your body, but typically that's a dose. Whereas, you know, to really get the benefits of an infusion or a decoction, you're going to want to drink, you know, anywhere from 1 to 1.5 quarts per day, which it's great, it's super hydrating, but not always convenient. They don't need to be refrigerated. This infusion and decoction, they can last 1 to 2 days in the fridge if you don't get to it right away, but the tinctures will last for decades. And yeah, and they're very, you can just throw them in your bag and go, which is awesome. All right, now while we have the decoction simmering away, our infusion is steeping, our tinctures are not getting any worse for age, let's talk about our adaptogens for today. The first one I want to talk to you guys about is Tulsi, which is what our infusion is going to be today. Tulsi, you might also know it as holy basil. And we actually grow 3 different varieties of holy basil or Tulsi here at Immortal Mountain. And we use all 3 varieties in our Tulsi tincture that we have available on our website or direct sales in person. And I want to show you guys what the plant looks like as well. Over here for you guys to see. It is in the basil family. Probably really blurry, but I wish we had smell-o-vision because it smells like a cross between basil and blueberry and clove. It's really amazing. And you get all of those flavors in the infusion and the tincture. It's also a Hindu goddess of protection. So traditionally, a lot of Indian homes will have a potted tulsi or holy basil plant outside of their homes. So along with having antidepressant and antiviral properties, the leaves, stems, and flowers of this plant are amazing for helping us to maintain homeostasis in our bodies or equilibrium during stressful shifts in our environment, and also improving our immune response. So, if any of those aforementioned stressors are kind of intruding and making us feel out of balance, like our immune system is reacting, or our nervous system is reacting, Tulsi on a long-term tonifying level can help us kind of soften that reaction and bring us back into balance. Let's see. It also helps ease digestion. So it's great for anxious or upset stomachs due to stress. It can help us regulate or normalize our blood pressure and blood sugar levels. And it's overall really great for cold and flu season. Again, like I said, it softens our reactions to stress, and it's a general kind of restorative tonic for our bodies. Honestly, I can't really think of anyone who wouldn't benefit from this plant. We make our tincture here. We use a Finnish vodka that's made from Icelandic spring water, which is pretty top of the line. But we also keep everything very affordable, which is what we really strive to do. So that is Tulsi in a nutshell. Let's see. Let's check on our infusions coming here. Okay, so it's starting. I don't know if you guys can tell, but it is starting to change color a little bit, which means that it's starting to, get extracted. The medicinal properties are starting to get extracted using that hot water. Okay, we will come back to that. Let's talk about reishi mushroom next. Reishi is R-E-I-S-H-I, and this is what it looks like. If that's blurry or not, but this is a dried reishi mushroom, and it is it's traditionally actually used in Chinese medicine for longevity. It's been used for thousands of years there. But there is also a species of reishi that has naturalized here in the US that grows on fallen hemlock trees that we have kind of found tends to grow on fallen hemlock trees near water sources. So there's a lot of these really magical spots here in the Blue Ridge Appalachian Mountain area where there's hikes and waterfalls. And every time you guys go to a waterfall or a stream, learn to identify fallen hemlock trees, and you will possibly come across a reishi mushroom. And they are usually, when they look like this, they're usually, when they're fresh, they tend to have kind of a shiny, lacquered top to them. Always, always, always be 200% sure on your wild crafting mushrooms though. Just make sure you get it, identified thoroughly by a professional before you use it. We actually grow them here. We grow them indoors. We have a mushroom grow house in our kind of outdoor, kind of an outdoor indoor space, kind of controlled. So we know what we're getting. But yeah, reishi mushrooms. Okay, it has liver protecting qualities and it has antioxidants, but that's not all. It's also typically used for relaxation and calming properties. So this adaptogen is really great for if you tend to feel kind of high strung a lot of times, or if that's your kind of go-to feeling when you're stressed. Unlike a pharmaceutical sedative, which can kind of make you drowsy, yes, but it can also have some unwanted side effects like sleep eating. I don't think any of us want to be doing that. Reishi is cool because as an adaptogen, it works on a holistic level by supporting a calm or kind of meditative demeanor, therefore naturally improving the quality of our sleep. It's obviously not going to work instantaneously, and it's not a sedative, but it does have a nice kind of calming effect. And it's also a wonderful adaptogen for helping us to balance the occasional overindulgence by helping our livers. It protects our livers from overtoxicity, and it can relieve muscular and nervous tension, which also can help promote a better sleep. Our tincture, we do make a reishi tincture right here. It's really hard to tell if it's in focus or not for you guys, but feel free to also check out our website after this talk. You can see pictures there. Our reishi mushroom, we actually make a double extract with our tincture, which means we first extract it in an alcohol solvent, and then we take that mushroom that has been steeped in the alcohol, and we do a hot water, almost like a decoction, but we basically let it. It's a very, very, very strong decoction. And then we combine the hot water strained off and the alcohol strained off into our tincture. So you get the benefits of what the alcohol is extracted and what the hot water has extracted together in one formula. We also, another way to enjoy reishi mushroom is a dried powdered extract. A lot of times it won't necessarily stay if it has been heated, because you do always want to heat any mushrooms that you're ingesting to break down the cell walls of the mushroom to be assimilated by our bodies. But we do use, we have a source for getting reishi in a powdered extract that we incorporate into 2 of our chocolate flavors. Wandering Star, in case anyone is interested. Wandering Star, and also our Dark Woods. Those are both chocolates that we produce here in Immortal Mountain that we incorporate reishi mushrooms into. And it doesn't add necessarily a bitterness to the chocolate, it just kind of adds this extra flavor dimension. It's really nice, actually. Works well with the chocolate. Let me check on our decoction is doing. Speaking of reishi, let's see. Okay. Ooh, okay. The goji berries, I know you guys can't see this, but the goji berries are starting to absorb the water now, and they're expanding, and it's coming to a nice simmer. So we will check on that again in a little while. All right. The third adaptogen that I would like to talk to you guys about is ashwagandha. I know that's a long one. That's a long word. But I will spell it for you if you're interested. It's ASHWAGANDHA. That's ashwagandha. It is an Indian herb, and traditionally it's used in a powdered form. I don't know if you can see that powder. And it's the powdered root of the plant that is used. And it smells, it's a very kind of earthy smell. You can tell there's a little bit of bitterness there, but there's also kind of a sweetness, nuttiness as well. So it does lend itself to adding to smoothies, which I will get into in just a minute. Yeah, so ashwagandha is a very important herb in traditional Indian Ayurvedic medicine, which is the traditional medicine used in India for thousands of years to promote peaceful sleep, but also, as with a lot of adaptogens, it can conversely act as a rejuvenating tonic. So it can be kind of relaxing, or it can be rejuvenating, depending upon when you take it and also what you're combining it with. And also, as many adaptogens are, ashwagandha acts as an adrenal tonic. So that means it's nourishing to our adrenal glands and helps us to better respond to stress with the right amount of hormones like cortisol, instead of constantly flooding our systems with cortisol, triggering that fight or flight primal feeling that we don't really need to be feeling all the time. I mean, it's great and it has its purpose, but we probably shouldn't be feeling that way as much as we do these days. So ashwagandha can help nourish our adrenal glands and help us to better respond to stress in that way. A sip of tea here. So ashwagandha, while this herb, like most herbs, should be used cautiously during pregnancy, for anyone currently not pregnant, it makes a wonderful traditional evening drink warmed up with milk or coconut milk. That's traditionally how it's taken in India. And again, it's usually in powdered form. So one recipe I like from Rosemary Gladstar, who's a renowned herbalist, she recommends using a teaspoon of ashwagandha along with a teaspoon of ground cinnamon and a teaspoon of honey, and mixing that all together with a cup of warmed up milk of any kind, like almond milk or coconut milk or cow's milk. And you mix it all together, and it's a really, really delicious kind of wind down nightcap drink that you can enjoy. Or on the other side, you can drink it in the morning with a berry smoothie and add some other kinds of rejuvenative supplements like maca, which is actually another adaptogen, which we don't have time to discuss today, but that's MACA. Look it up. And bee pollen. So those would work very synergistically with all the wonderful flavors and antioxidants of some frozen berries. And maybe you can even use as your liquid, your infusion that has been steeping overnight, which, by the way, you can let it steep as long as overnight, which is that's how I do it, because I'm very short on time usually, and I usually just throw the herbs with the water and let it steep overnight, and I strain it in the morning. And then you can use that in your smoothie, which is awesome. All right, let's see. The last herb that I would like to talk to you guys tonight about before we kind of strain our potions and get into some fun questions and answers is eleuthero. You know, that's sort of another long name one, but we got ours from, we don't grow eleuthero, but we got ours from Mountain Rose Herbs, which is it's a really, really great herb company out in Oregon. This was actually the very first herb to ever be determined an adaptogen, and it is the most studied herb in the world, with over 3,000 studies performed on it. It's also known as Siberian ginseng, so it is sort of in the ginseng family. It's grows like where, I don't know if anyone is familiar with the way ginseng grows, like American ginseng, but typically they almost look like mayaples. They get to be about less than a foot tall, with almost like palmate, umbrella types of leaves. And it's the root that you're going to use. And that's how eleuthero is. You're going to use the root. But eleuthero grows almost like a tall bush. It does have similar looking like palmate leaves, but it's a lot taller. And it typically grows in like Eastern Europe, Siberia, that kind of area. And it has, with all these studies that have been done on it, it's been shown to increase physical endurance and performance. And it's been shown to help us react better to stress, which I'm noticing a theme here. It can also help us improve mental concentration. And it's, I remember one of the studies I read said that it was, it helped with space sickness. I think they were doing some studies on astronauts back in the early 60s. And it can also, it is more on the stimulating side of the spectrum. So it's not necessarily one that you're going to want to enjoy right before bedtime. It might keep you up at night. But if you do, use it as a tincture or a decoction, how we're doing it, it's great more as like a morning, early afternoon kind of thing. And it will help keep you going and definitely react better to stress. So not necessarily good for if you're typically a hyper or a high strung person, but it is really can have amazing results on kind of a holistic level. And it's one of those herbs that's great to use in small amounts, but sort of on a regular basis. All right, let me see. All right, our decoction is looking amazing. I'm gonna risk bringing the pot up to you guys to see if you can see it, because it is a clear glass on like visionware. Let's see if I can show you guys this. Looking pretty good. All right. Let's see how our pulsy infusion is coming. See, getting nice and becoming a nice golden color there. I don't usually even typically sweeten my teas. I should have mentioned licorice root. If you ever go into your local health food store, Better Times, or if you're living elsewhere, I know there's other natural food stores that are going to have kind of a bulk herb section. If you've never stopped at your bulk herb section and just kind of taken a look, you definitely should, because it's worth, usually the staff is super helpful and they would love to kind of share their knowledge with you and let you like maybe even open up the jars so you can see what it looks like, kind of maybe give it a little waft, smell it. I don't know how, I don't know, we're living in different times now post-pandemic, so that might not be okay, but we used to be able to do that. Anyway, so licorice root is an amazing also adaptogen. It's really great to use in small quantities added to your various teas, decoctions, or infusions, because it gives it like a naturally sweet flavor without actually adding any sugar. So that's my little tip there. But I actually really like the way Tulsi infusions taste totally on their own with no sweetener. I find that I can drink more of it when it's not sweetened, especially if it's warm out and if it's summertime. I like to ice it and maybe even give it a little squeeze of lemon. It's absolutely delicious. All right. Before we strain these, I'm going to give them a few more minutes. And I just wanted to share with you guys a couple really amazing books that I would recommend if you're interested in anything that I've been talking about today. This book is really great starter kind of, it's almost like an encyclopedia, but it's The Modern Herbal Dispensary by Thomas Easley and Stephen Horn. You see all my little sticky notes in there, but it's great. It's got pictures, it's got photographs, and it's really clearly laid out. It's got, you know, almost every herb you would ever want to look up in a very, very easy to read way. It tells you what the common name is, what the Latin name is, any possible warnings, what it's typically used for, a little bit of folklore sometimes thrown in there. And it even tells you some sources on where you can find these herbs and how to take them, what kind of dosage you would want. So this is a really great resource. This is another really awesome book. This might have been, I think this might have been the very first herb book I ever read cover to cover. Anyway, it's Rosemary Gladstar's Medicinal Herbs, A Beginner's Guide. This might even, I don't know, this might even be an old cover. It might look different now, but she's just an amazing herbalist and storyteller. This book you can easily read. It's not too long. You can read it cover to cover as like entertainment. It's really, really, it's so easy to just kind of get sucked into it. And it has recipes on how to, you know, make delicious little treats using all these different herbs. And this book is filled with really accessible herbs. A lot of them are just common garden herbs to just get you started. But that's a really good one. And then one that I refer a lot to for this specific presentation, which I don't have with me right now, but it's called Adaptogens by David Winston, who's a registered herbalist with the American Herbalist Guild. So that's another really great book. I would also be remiss to not tell you that our company, Immortal Mountain, has it's officially open for taking on subscribers for our summer season of our CSA. So it's basically you sign up for a 4-week subscription, and you can kind of resubscribe anytime after your 4 weeks is up throughout the season if you want to do more than one 4-week session. And we don't have too many slots available. It is sort of a first come, first serve. But it's if you go to our website, there's kind of a tab at the top for CSA. And it's a very like herbal centric CSA, which sets it apart from a lot of your other typical garden vegetable CSAs, which I highly, highly recommend supporting your local farmers. But the difference with this one is that while it does include a lot of fresh greens, microgreens, heirloom salad greens, really beautiful salad blends, we also include, in every week, we include medicinal herbs as well as culinary herbs. And We label everything so you'll know what everything is, and you can do your own research and experiment and have fun with them. So we always include like a little, like almost like an infusion kit for you to enjoy every week, as well as our, you get a tincture and a chocolate every week. You don't get a tincture every week, one tincture per 4 weeks, I believe. But you do get a chocolate every week, and one of our herbal botanical salves or balms in the 4-week span as well. So it's really, I mean, it includes a lot. I'm kind of glossing over it, but if you're interested in herbs and aren't growing any yet, or are interested in kind of exploring a little more using fresh herbs that aren't available to you right now, then I would recommend signing up for our little CSA that we have. It's well worth it. And we offer a delivery or pickup on that. And one more announcement is that here at our farmstead, we're actually going to be doing an herb walk and a permaculture farm tour in a few weeks. I think it's I want to say the second weekend of July. It's up on our website. Thank you. It's up on our website right now, immortalmountain.com, under the events tab. And it's going to be free. All you have to do is RSVP. I think we do have a limited amount of spaces available just because of parking and stuff, but definitely come on over, check out what we're doing, and join me. I'll be doing an herb walk, kind of walking around the grounds and identifying things and talking about them in a very casual way. From I think about 12 to 1, and then from 1 to 2, Drew will be doing a farmstead tour. So that'll be fun. All right. So I finished up a little bit earlier than I was anticipating, but I wanted to leave plenty of room for questions and answers, because sometimes my answers can kind of go on tangents. Oh, I almost forgot. We got to strain our potions. Hang on, people. Hold the phone. All right. Okay. So first, we're gonna strain our Tulsi infusion. It's a little hot. Okay. So I'm taking the cap off, and yeah, I really wish you guys could smell this, but if you sign up for our CSA, you can. All right, what you're going to want to do is take just like a little fine mesh strainer here and another mason jar. I have a towel down here just in case I make a total mess. And a funnel just to make it a little bit neater. I'm going to put the funnel in the wide mouth jar here, and my strainer on top of that. And I'm going to pour my very hot. I'm not making too much of a mess. I'm very impressed with myself right now. All right, I'm straining my Tulsi. My kids are going to be extremely excited about this tomorrow, especially my daughter. She's 4, but she loves Tulsi. When it's growing in the garden, she goes around and picks the leaves off of them and just eats them. She loves them. So it's very, very kid friendly, and she loves drinking tea. All right, so I'm going to set my strained herbs there. Set that aside, and my funnel. Thanks for bearing with me, you guys. I can't believe I almost forgot about this. Okay, and now we have our, look at that, amazing golden, beautiful, beautiful tea. I'm gonna try it. Oh, that's perfect. It's like, it's got that kind of clove almost flavor, a little bit of basil flavor. Very delicious. I'll save that for my family for tomorrow. I might have a little bit of it before I go to bed tonight though. All right, and now we're going to strain I'm going to turn my burner off here, and I'm going to show you guys really quick what this looks like. If I don't make a mess, I'm totally going to regret doing this, but it's worth it. Hang on. All right, can you guys see that? Look at that, it's so beautiful. Everything just looks so alive in there. Okay, we're going to take, I'm not going to strain the whole thing right now, but I'm just going to take a little teacup right here. And my my strainer. I'm gonna just pour a little bit off of this and just see how it tastes. Oh, those goji berries, they look so fat and juicy now. Ooh, okay, let me smell this. This smells like, it smells like cinnamon and like, I don't know, it smells very wintry. Must be all those barks and berries and cinnamon. All right, let me strain a little bit of this now so I can give you a better description. All right. This one didn't go for too long enough. I can't really, I can show you guys this, but it didn't strain very much. So it didn't get to be too dark. Where are we located? Oh, we just got a question. Okay, we are located, actually our location is on our website, but we are in the Front Royal area. We're just, we're in kind of the Shenandoah Farms area. If you're familiar at all with that. But our location and address are on our website. Let me taste this real quick. Very hot, ooh, but very tasty. It's really mild. Typically with infusions that we did with the Tulsi, you can let that steep anywhere from 20 minutes to overnight, like I was talking about. Decoctions, you're gonna wanna let that simmer a little longer. I would say minimum like 45 minutes. So really this should have gone a little longer, but still very tasty. So this would be a great tonic to kind of drink throughout that early part of the daytime because it does have that L-euthero in it. Ooh, there's a little bit of a kick there too from the cinnamon. Very tasty. Ginger would also be really tasty in that mix too. So that was L-euthero, goji berries, reishi mushroom, and cinnamon. So if you wanted to really go crazy, you could add some licorice root and ginger as well, and that would be an amazing, amazing tonic there. Okay, so we made our potions. Hopefully I've inspired you a little bit to go out and try some adaptogenic herbs for yourself. Just know that they are very safe. No side effects. They're safe for every age person, but you really, like, you just want to kind of pay attention to the time of day that you might want to be taking them, depending on the desired effect that you're going to want from them. And yeah, I think you're gonna, over time, if you're kind of incorporating them daily or regularly into your wellness routine, you're gonna be really, really pleased with the results. Tulsi in particular, I can't stress Tulsi enough. Might be my #1 favorite herb. I think I take a little bit of it every day, whether it's an infusion or a tincture. A little bit of Tulsi keeps the doctor away. Just kidding. Okay. All right. So thank you so much. And I would just love to entertain maybe some questions you guys might have. Let's see if I can fix my camera. Okay. Yeah. Are there any questions? You guys have any questions for me or comments, general or specific? I'd be happy to answer anything right now.
Anybody would like, you can unmute at this point. Also, we did have somebody earlier ask about the 4 plants. They are in the chat for anybody who's interested.
Oh, like spelling them or like, I could just do a quick review of them too, if it would help anyone.
You're also listed in the chat though, for if anybody needs the spelling.
Okay, great. Well, just as a quick review, yeah, the 4 herbs that I've talked about today are Tulsi, also known as holy basil, and that's Tulsi. If a person wanted me to, I'm sorry, how do I get to a question that just, maybe I'll ask you in just a second, Erin. A question popped up, but I couldn't see that.
I can read it in a second.
Okay, well, the 4 herbs that I discussed today are Tulsi, Tulsi, also known as holy basil, L-euthero, which is ELEUTHERO, L-euthero root, ashwagandha, that's ASHWAGANDHA, ashwagandha root powder, and reishi mushroom, REISHI. Okay, now Erin, how do I'm really not very proficient in Zoom.
No, that's okay. If you want, I can read it out to you.
Oh, okay, sure. That'd be great. Okay.
All right, so first person, If a person wanted or needed guidance on using herbs, both in general and for specific issues, do you do consultations?
Yes, I would be happy to take on a consultation. If you would just email me, I don't know, is my contact information available through you guys? I'd be happy to provide it. You can just email me at immortalmountain@gmail.com. That's all one word. Just shoot me an email, and I would love to just kind of get the ball rolling with you, and just we can just start a conversation and go from there.
I'm putting that in the chat. All right. So for anybody, her contact information is listed. All right. So the next question: if we wanted to try to make these drinks ourselves, where would we purchase good quality herbs?
Awesome question. And I'm so glad you said that, because I meant to mention some really good resources. I think I mentioned the local herb shop here, Better Times in Front Royal. I'm a veteran employee there. I worked there for at least 4 years when we first moved here, around the 2009 mark. As far as I know, they still have an amazing bulk herb selection. The cool thing about going in person to visit these herbs is you get to really see them. You want to make sure that they're not too discolored looking or stale looking. The more vibrant looking, the better, because sometimes, herbs can unfortunately get forgotten about on the shelf, and they can sit there and just kind of get oxidized and lose their potency. So you really want like vibrant looking herbs. So if you go in person, definitely look for that. And you can also, let's see, some online sources. Well, we sell a bunch of botanicals, which are products made from plants that we do everything start to finish here. We grow, we harvest, and we process all of our herbal products that we sell here at Immortal Mountain, start to finish. So we have a lot of extracts and tinctures available. We have a couple dried tea or infusion kit options. I'm not sure if those are currently on our website, but we do include them in the CSA bundles. And if they're not on the website, we should have them back in stock very soon, but they look like this. They get a very nice little bag of beautifully dried beyond organic herbs. When I say beyond organic, we're not certified organic, but we use absolutely no pesticides or any sort of chemicals whatsoever in growing our herbs, and we grow everything in a very regenerative fashion. Another great source for getting your bulk dried herbs is Mountain Rose Herbs, which is where we got our Eleutherol root. Mountain Rose Herbs, they're based out of Oregon. And Star West Botanicals is another really good company that I would feel good about recommending. And this is all for like loose herbs, if you're just looking for loose dried herbs. Mountain Rose Herbs, Star West Botanicals, Frontier Co-op is another one. We do sell some like plant starts and like tree seedlings during our events that we do here, like our farm tour. So we'll have some plants available at those times if you're interested in gardening or growing them. Yeah, hopefully that covers that question.
Alrighty, next one, and I believe it's the fourth root that you mentioned, and I'm probably not going to be able to remember how to pronounce it, but how do you spell the process you use to prepare it?
The Eleutherol?
Yes.
I used a decoction method, which is DECOCTION. That's decoction. And then the method that I used for the holy basil or Tulsi was an infusion. That's INFUSION.
All right, and our last one here. How can we research any interactions with prescription medication?
That's a great question. Fortunately, the great thing about all of these adaptogenic herbs is that they typically have no contraindications with medications, which makes them non-toxic. They have to have that qualification in order to be considered an adaptogen. That being said, if you want to do your due diligence and do extra research, some of the books that this book in particular, A Modern Herbal Dispensary, they do list common warnings or side effects that with other herbs. I made sure that all the ones that I talked about today, I think the only thing that it mentioned was ashwagandha. You know, you want to seek guidance if you're pregnant. But otherwise, I mean, I drank Tulsi tea through both of my pregnancies. Eleuthero is another one you might want to just use in small quantities. You know, I wouldn't go crazy with that one just because it can have a very stimulating effect. But they're very, very, very safe herbs to use, which is why I love them. And I just saw a question pop up and I missed it because I was yammering.
I'm interested in treating my dog's respiratory problems. Let's see. I have a Cadyn book. See, I'm not sure what that last part was.
Oh, what was I missed that.
See, person says they're interested in treating their dog's respiratory problems. See, they say I think it's a Cadyn book. Not sure.
Oh, okay. That sounds familiar. Okay. Respiratory, let's see. You know, I'm not great. I know what I would do for a human. I'm not explicitly qualified for animals. I know there are a lot of there are if you do some research, there are some really amazing holistic vets in the area. You kind of more in the Northern Virginia area. And I know, yeah, I think is that an author or a vet? That Cadyn, that sounds so familiar to me. I know there are also some really good holistic medicine for pets books out there. I'm sorry, I'm not more qualified to answer that specific question though.
Got it. So it is Dr. Cadyn's Complete Guide to Natural Health for Dogs and Cats. So yeah, I think it is a natural health.
Yeah, we sold that when I was working at Better Times. I remember that book on the bookshelf. Yeah. I unfortunately I have not read that book, and I wish I was more qualified to answer that question. I'm sorry. And I'm sorry your dog's having respiratory problems.
And just for anybody who's interested, the books you did mention, we do have them at the library. So feel free, everybody, to check those out.
Yes. Samuel's library comes through once again.
All right. Anybody else have any questions? You can unmute yourself if you so like. All righty.
Well, I would love to hear more from you guys. Please feel free to, if you have any questions that you didn't feel comfortable asking, feel free to email me, and I'll respond to you as soon as I can. You know, I'm a little erratic with answering emails with 2 little ones running around all the time, but I do get to them eventually, and usually within a day or 2, I will get back to you. So please feel free to reach out to me. I'm a person, and I love talking about herbs. So, and hopefully I'd love to see some of you as a sign up for our CSA. We really, really just, it's a huge passion of ours to grow things on our land and actually help to heal part of the mountain here on our land by growing the way that we do. And then sharing that harvest with other people is just, it means a lot to us. So we'd love to see some of you guys on our CSA this season.
All right. Thank you again so much for joining us, and thank you, Cadyn, for doing this presentation for us. It was absolutely awesome.
Thank you.
Contact information is in the chat for anybody, again, who's interested, and hope to see you all soon. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, you guys.